Hello and welcome back to True Treats. Thanks for joining us for week 11. This week we have the New England Patriots versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
For the New England Patriots, we made a cranberry and maple bread, and for the Kansas City Chiefs, we're doing our twist on what's called a bacon explosion. The classic is just a little too close to heart attack for us, so check out the video to see the changes that we made and enjoy. The first of our two dishes this week is the bacon explosion, representing the Kansas City Chiefs. The traditional bacon explosion takes your ground Italian sausage, stuffs it with bacon bits, then wraps it with bacon and barbecue sauce. Literally no vegetables at all. So for our version, we chose to replace the bacon bits that is surrounded with Italian sausage with plenty of vegetables. Some of those vegetables were carrots, mushrooms, onions, and broccoli. After we chopped up all those vegetables, we put them in a bowl, add a little bit of garlic and some salt and pepper. Then I simply just used my hands to work the vegetables and the different ingredients into the sausage so it became a nice, consistent loaf. To do this, you simply want to just work the ingredients over and over, bringing the bottom up to the top so that you mix it smoothly and consistently. Eventually, all of the ingredients will start to stick in with your Italian sausage. Once you get that, you flip it over onto your cutting board and mold it into the shape of the loaf that you're looking for. Then it's time to set up our bacon. Notice that we laid out our bacon onto a pan that will catch all of the drippings. This will help to drain off just some of the fat from the sausage and the bacon so we don't get as much of it into our meal. We laid out our strips of bacon, then we placed our loaf right on top and we just simply rolled it up so the bacon is completely surrounding the Italian sausage mixture. To add to our meal, we decided to cut up a little bit of potatoes, and later we'll make a nice house salad with the lettuce in the background there. We took our potatoes, just threw them on the pan right next to the loaf, so while it's baking, the potatoes will roast and absorb all of those nice flavors. After about 20 to 25 minutes, we pulled our bacon explosion out of the oven so we could flip it over. That way we make sure that the bacon on both sides of the loaf ends up nice and crispy. Once we flipped that loaf over, we threw it back in the oven for about 10 minutes so that the bacon got nice and crispy on that other side. Then we pulled it out once again, and it's time to put on some barbecue sauce. For our barbecue sauce this week, we decided to use the Jack Daniel's Classic, which is one of our favorite pre-made sauces here at True Treats. After saucing that side, we threw it back in the oven. Once it was nice and glazed, we pulled it back out of the oven, flipped it over so we could glaze the other sides with our classic Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce. Then it's back in the oven for just about 10 more minutes to finish the glaze, and then our loaf will be ready to eat. The loaf is out and it's started to cool, so it's time to cut some nice thick slices. Then we'll take that bacon explosion loaf, we'll put it on our plate with our roasted potatoes and our nice house salad, and we have a full, complete meal. The second of our two dishes that we're making this week is a cranberry maple bread for the New England Patriots, which will make a nice dessert for the meal that we've already made. The first thing we need to do is rehydrate our dried cranberries just a bit and soften them up with a cup of boiling water and about a tablespoon of butter. Throw that in a bowl, stir it around a little bit, and let it cool down before we add any more of our ingredients. And while that is cooling, we'll go ahead and prepare our dry ingredients, which just a couple cups of flour, our baking soda, our baking powder, and a little bit of salt, all in a nice big mixing bowl. A great thing about this meal is while your bacon explosion is baking in the oven, you can prepare your bread loaf and set it aside in the fridge so when the bacon explosion comes out, you can pop that right in, and by the time you're done with dinner, dessert will be ready. Now that our dry ingredients are all prepared and sitting aside, we can add the rest of our wet ingredients to our mixture from before. First we add in our cup of maple syrup, then we add up our chopped up almonds, and lastly our egg. The egg is the main reason that you want to let it cool down before you add it in. If you add it in while it's too hot, your egg will start to cook, which means you'll end up with chunks of egg white or egg yolk in your bread. And let me tell you, if you've never had that, it is something you want to avoid. So make sure it's cooled down before you add in the rest of your wet ingredients. But once you have them all mixed up, mix the dry with the wet so you get a nice sticky consistency. Then butter your pan and spoon your dough right into it. And as we said, if you're already baking your bacon explosion, you can put it in the fridge and let it sit. Otherwise, you can pop it right into the oven.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again for week 12.
Remember, you can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Leave us a comment, video response, let us know how we did or what you thought. Send us some recipes or tell us a few stories about some cooking adventures that you've had.
And remember, eat the bacon explosion responsibly and keep on cooking.